Good morning, fellow reloaders, YouTubers, or people who are interested in the 5x7, 7 by 28. I don't know why I call it 5x7. I should just stick with that. I've got my yummy Sunday morning coffee going. A little grape juice too, depending on how long this video goes. And I'm going to try and kill two birds with one stone. This is the follow-up video that I wanted to do on the Frankford Arsenal Universal Case Trimmer for a couple reasons. One, I'm doing the 5.7, and you saw in yesterday's video, and I actually did label this just because I'm anal. I finally got this to 1.35-ish, give or take a 10,000ths of an inch, with the dependency being how well you or I chamfer and deburr. Because at that level of measurement, every little bit makes a difference. So again, these are our two Lee die, what I'll call baseline measurements. I have another 3 pieces of brass that we'll be using to set this up. So I was looking through the directions, and what was interesting is the directions highlight, basically they talk about setting the main, get this close enough, and then obviously lock the nut, and then use that to micro adjust. So once you have that micro adjustment done, you're locked and you're good. Kind of like the CTS. Issue being, this is dedicated to 5x7, 5.7 by 28. This is universal to do whatever. So half a dozen of one, 6 of another. But when I was reading through the directions, they make it a little more overly complicated than I think it needs to be. And they reference this arrow mark, and then they talk about course depth adjustment marks, and they show these very nicely highlighted. I'll just call them a scale. When you look at the actual cutter, there's that arrow mark, but there's no, get this out of the way, there's no scale of cute tick marks. There's this scale here, which I guess you could call these little hashes those marks, but not so clear. I mean, maybe they'd be better with white highlight or something, but we'll see how that goes. So my thought was very similar to what we did last night with the CTS trimmer, is take 3 pieces of brass, measure them, and see what the difference is with something that has a micro adjustment capability as opposed to something that is very rough in the sense of ease of use. I mean, undoing the hexes and trying to slide this cutter up and down, 2/1000ths of an inch. Challenging, to be honest. I think I did 4 or 5 takes that weren't in the video just because there were too many. And watching me do the same thing over and over again is, with the same results, isn't that the definition of insanity? So I think what I'll do is I'll set this up for, I'll go with my favorite version, and then we'll do micrometer adjustments from there. So the first thing you're going to do is pop the top. You're going to pop a collet, and I believe the collet goes, I want to say pointy down, funnel side down. No, funnel side, yep, so flat side to me, per the directions. So flat side goes in. So you're learning with me. Flat side goes in, the collet goes on, and this is the collet for 17 to 222, and it's all labeled, not only, let me put this here for a second, It's labeled on in black plastic on there, as well as on the scale up top. So they did a nice job there. I will give them that. Again, no complaints, just observations. Because it seems that some people interpret my videos as bitching, moaning, complaints, and I should get off the platform. Platform being whatever I'm talking about. So I'm gonna make sure I can freely. Okay, so that's a nice snug fit in terms of not catching. There we go. So you can see that, or maybe you can't, depending on how well this focuses. There's just enough of the brass barely sticking up. So I'll even see. This might be a short video because it might not go far enough down. I don't know. It might be SOL. Ooh, that's tight. Okay, so right there. Okay, so I'm hitting brass right here. And I do have enough room to go down even more. So I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to back it off. And I'm going to lock that. So now we have, actually that seems like it's touching. Okay, so it's a little dark in here, and with my glasses, so I'm going to try and get a visual. And this is what I love about a tool like this, is being able to get my visual, because there's the ability to screw it and look at the light that you can see, which you can't see, where the brass is barely touching, and then rotate the brass to make sure it's not gripping on the and that was kind of funny because I just did all that on my non-sized brass, which, let me see what that size was, because that might be the way to go. So I'm not a fan of double plastic. Just put one in the freaking middle. It's so hard to open double plastic tabs. Again, overly complex. All right, so let's see what we got here. All right, so that's 1.135. This is exactly what I want. So what I'm going to do is cheat. I'm going to undo this. I'm going to use this as my example. And I'm going to screw this in. And you're probably not catching this because this camera is really terrible for close-ups. All right, so I'm going to say that is good. All right, so now I'm going to tighten this, finger tighten. And we'll size these 3 pieces of brass. I don't think we need the instructions anymore. One. Two. Ooh, this one's a little beat up on the mouth. Right there. and good as new. All right, so there's 3. Grab a towel. Won't be needing that anymore. Clean off the lube. All right, so there's our 3 pieces of brass, sized, full length resized. Just out of curiosity, where are we at? 1.146. Whoa, that one got 1.149. 1.149. All right, so now we've got the trimmer set up. I'll pause and set the drill up. Be right back. All right, so I smacked the camera, so sorry if the angle has changed a little bit. Same thing, the cutter window is right about here, so I use my pill bottle shield the same way I demonstrated yesterday. Give us a little room here, and we'll take the first piece of brass, which was I think like 1.1, gosh, what was it, 49-ish. Not a lot to grab onto, so we'll see how nicely this plays. And it helps if I turn power on. Yeah, there's just not a lot to grab onto there. That doesn't even feel like it's turning. So you don't even see that turning. Very interesting. All right, let's troubleshoot. Be right back. Okay, so methinks that based on how this was gripping the hex-shaped chuck or bit for the chuck, was preventing the cutter, which you can now see, turning. But I'm also not feeling any cut, nor am I getting any shavings. So what do we have, 1.159-ish? Okay, so we got a little bit, 1.15755, so it cut a little bit. Definitely wasn't 1.55, excuse me, 1.455 before, or I think it was 1.48 or 9. So again, here comes the beauty and the difference. This is a very excellent tool. Different class tool, simply because I probably wouldn't be doing any adjustment of the cutter on the drill. I've got my drill in the off position. I'll also cut power so that should I slip, nothing will happen. Here's the beauty of this solution, is by loosening that nut and doing, you know, the slightest of turn, and then retightening that. We'll see what that does. Power again, power, and I found that I can just hold that and the cutter will still spin. So let's see if that is the case. Yep. So you can see the cutter spinning. Again, I have no idea where chips are going, which is a little troublesome to me. And let's just get a baseline take before I chamfer and deburr. No, we're still about the same thing. Okay, so cut power. I'm wondering if I went the wrong way with my adjustment. Okay, power again. All right, so I clearly see chips. Cutting power. Looks like Gold Rush. All right, let me get a little bigger tool today for chamfer and deburr. These are also, gosh, I've got these so long ago I can't remember. These are also drill bit enabled. Again, hand tools, which fit inside. I can't remember where I bought these. I don't even think the company exists anymore. Long time ago. All right, so let's see what we got here. Okay, so that's a nice improvement. 140. Again, micro adjustment. So let me, okay, I have killed power. Let me, okay, power again, power. Let's go for another cut. Yeah, that's an interesting, there's just not a lot to grab on there. All right, more shavings. And let's see where we're at. Ooh, we went too far. Oh no. Oh, no. All right, let's get a consistent reading. Yep, 1.130. So too far. So that's a no-go. So now we will use this mark, and we're going to say we're at 15, 16, 17. We're at 18. So I'm going to loosen this, or at least try to. So we're at 18. I'm going to say we need to go down. Let's go down to, so 18 gets us a 130. Let's go down to 25 and see what that gets us. Actually, that's a little too much. And this is why I like to cut power on. And when I try and do things with my left hand, it doesn't work. Okay, there's 25. Okay, so 15 got us 1.130. The second piece is at 1.48. And try and get a better visual of what we're doing. And this should be a very scientific approach, because we measured, and 15 was 1.130. 25. I either went the wrong direction or I'm right on the money. I went the wrong direction. Okay, so that was 10 clicks, and we went from 1.130 to 1.122. You can see that. So that is going to be a no-go. That's a no-go. That's just way too short. All right, so that means if we were at 25, 15 gave us 1.130. Just not a lot to work with, and the camera is in the way. All right, there we go. That's loosened. Okay, so where's our mark? There was our mark. 15 was 1.130. So that 10 equated to roughly 8 10,000ths. So 15 to 5 would be 138-ish. So let's just screw it in right about there. Yeah, I'm doing mental math. Mental giant math. All right, last piece. 1.145.5 power. So just as a side note, it looks like if I aim the windows to the side, that's where the brass shavings shoot out. So if I aim the windows vertically, the brass shavings were coming out on the bottom. So that's kind of cool. Maybe I can control them a little bit. All right, so I'm hoping this one is the magic. All right. Give me 1.135. All right, let's get a consistent reading here. 1.140. So we went 8 10,000ths of an inch, roughly, from. So we need to go 45 10,000ths. 5 10,000ths. Where's our mark? So shorter. So let's go right about to 9 and see. Actually, let's go to 10. Because we can always cut more, we can't cut less. All right, so there's the 10. Got power? No. We have power. Okay, I'm gonna aim the window. I'm gonna aim the window down. That's actually kind of cool. Shavings went exactly where the window was. No complaints. So I like the adjustability and the measurement factor over this. And what's funny is I paid more for this because I got this when it was on sale for like 29 bucks. It was the biggest steal because I think they're about $89 now. Ooh, look at that. 1.135. 1.135. And I think this has to come down at this level of measurement to whatever little burr is potentially still on the outside there. So it's not possible for this to have grown. I can still feel some roughy edges. And I apologize if things aren't in focus, because I know this camera loves to set itself on one depth of field for focus. And that's semi-smooth. Again, that would be drill controlled. 1.136. Yeah, I still don't like